Hey everyone! If you look around today, you honestly don't need to be an expert to sense that something fundamental is shifting. In this explainer, we're going to break down a really fascinating philosophical framework that attempts to make sense of this exact moment in history, exploring what it actually means to live on the cusp of a totally new era.
Do you feel like the world's values are currently turning upside down? I'm guessing a lot of you are nodding right now. Seriously, trying to keep up with what's considered common sense lately kind of feels like trying to read a map while on a roller coaster. What was widely accepted just 10 or 20 years ago is constantly being challenged, rewritten, or discarded entirely. And this instability isn't just a political or economic phase. According to the framework we're exploring today, it's actually the primary symptom of a much deeper, spiritual diagnosis of our time.
To really get to the bottom of this, we're diving into a super compelling text called The Origin of Love by Ryuho Okawa. Specifically, we're zeroing in on Chapter 7, Overture to a New Era. This text provides a deeply spiritual lens through which we can view all those chaotic societal shifts we were just talking about. It argues that this chaos isn't random at all. Instead, it's a structured transition into a completely new age for humanity.
So, the text actually outlines what this transition feels like through three specific premonitions. First up is that dramatic reversal of common sense and old values. As the text suggests, what we're witnessing is a landslide-like overturning of what society used to value. But it definitely doesn't stop there. It also posits a growing, intuitive feeling of the close presence of the divine, plus a sense of the universe approaching, like a massive broadening of humanity's perspective beyond just our everyday earthly concerns. It's a huge expansion of awareness.
And there's this brilliant metaphor the text uses to illustrate just how abrupt and staggering this shift is. Quote, "It is as if a large whale that had been sinking deep at the bottom of the sea suddenly leaps to the surface of the ocean, blowing its spout." I mean, wow, I love that imagery. It perfectly captures the sheer scale and suddenness of the changing era. This isn't some slow, quiet evolution. It's hidden, potential, long dormant, violently and majestically breaking through the surface of our reality. It absolutely demands our attention.
Moving on to Section 1, the metaphorical journey, the autumn of humanity.
To figure out where we are in this grand cycle, the author brings in a really powerful metaphor: autumn. And you know, autumn is totally a season of duality, right? On one hand, you have the great harvest. We are currently reaping the absolute peak fruits of human civilization, unprecedented technological advancement, wealth, and accumulated knowledge. But autumn also signals the coming winter. Along with this immense harvest, we are witnessing the inevitable decline and decay of outdated systems, old powers fading away, and the approach of some pretty severe incoming trials.
Because of that incoming winter, the text actually issues a pretty clear warning. We can't just sit back and gorge on the harvest. We simply cannot be satisfied with the status quo. Instead, right now is the exact moment we need to be solidifying an unshakable foundation of divine truth. According to the text, we have to accumulate the inner strength and the structural resilience necessary to withstand the trials, the confusion, and the metaphorical freezing temperatures of the changes ahead.
Which naturally brings us to a really vital question. If all those old values, the systems that literally guided us for centuries, are falling away like dead autumn leaves, well, what takes their place? How do we build that solid foundation? We know the problem, but what exactly is the prescription?
That takes us to Section 2, the prescription, seeking a new enlightenment.
So, the prescription for our age, according to the text, is the pursuit of a new enlightenment. But wait, this isn't about dusting off some abstract knowledge from 2,000 years ago and just feeling good about it. Ancient wisdom is great, but the text argues that for today's unique trials, we need practical truth. We need an enlightenment that is actively applied to daily life and, most importantly, backed by immediate action. It's enlightenment as a verb, not just a noun.
So how do you actually do that? Well, the text lays out a really practical methodology. Step 1, digest spiritual knowledge. Learn those foundational truths. Step 2, bring it down to the practical level. You have to stop treating it as lofty, abstract theory. And step 3, apply it to everyday life. It's all about taking these vast philosophical concepts and turning happiness into a tangible, repeatable science that you execute in your daily routine, your job, and your relationships.
Next up is Section 3, the vision. The bell of hope rings. Now, if all this talk of winter and trials sounds a bit daunting, don't worry. The text makes a hard pivot here from survival prep to an ultimate vision of incredible optimism. The author writes, "I can hear the bell of hope ringing. I can see the bell of hope ringing." Despite the harsh realities of these shifting eras, the fundamental view of this text is one of profound empowerment.
The arrival of this new era isn't a tragedy at all. It's literally the ringing of a bell of hope for those who are prepared to listen and act.
In fact, the text goes so far as to claim that this new era is a time when miracles become an everyday occurrence. I mean, just think about that for a second. When you strip away all that rigid, outdated thinking and align yourself with a practical, living truth, the extraordinary becomes normal. This is an era that demands a renewed sense of purpose and a deep, deep sense of awe at what is possible when humanity truly wakes up.
And finally, Section 4, A Future Far Away, Building a Legacy.
You see, this wake-up call isn't just about making our own lives better right now. It's about looking to a future far, far away. To get there, the text calls for what it describes as a sacred war against the status quo, challenging us to not fall into a rut, to escape a life of apathy, to break down fixed, rigid concepts, and to walk powerfully as warriors of a new light. This isn't just about patching up today's immediate problems. It's about actively battling the intellectual laziness that prevents society from evolving.
And why exactly are we waging this war against apathy? Well, the ultimate goal presented in the text is leaving an enduring legacy for humanity that stretches far into the distant future. The autumn of humanity basically requires us to harvest the absolute best of what we've achieved, discard the decaying systems, and plant the seeds of truth so deep that generations, centuries from now will reap the benefits of the foundation we build today.
So, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought today. Based on everything we've unpacked in this explainer, how will you apply your own new enlightenment to build a legacy for the distant future? Are you going to cling to the falling autumn leaves, or are you preparing the ground for the generations to come? It's a massive shift for sure, but as we've seen, it's also a time of incredible hope. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I highly encourage you to keep questioning, keep learning, and keep building that foundation.